Hi all, welcome to Andrea M. D'Souza's kitchen. Today I'm going to make for you a childhood favorite, and that is patoyos. I still remember my grand auntie Virgin who used to make these for us and get them every 15th August. And even when she was unable to come, she ensured that her children would bring it and give them to us. And even today, when I was making these patoyos, I remembered her so much because for 15th August, I knew there would be a package coming from her home. And over the years, because I liked them so much, my dad taught me how to make them using my grandmother's recipe. So here it is, just for you. Do try it out. I know you will enjoy it as much as we did. And don't forget to share this recipe with all your family and friends who love good cooking, who love Goan food, and who would love to try this and eat it. And don't forget to like the videos on my YouTube channel, Andrea M. D'Souza's Kitchen, and also subscribe to my channel so that you get more and more such wonderful recipes. So do try it out and let me know how much you enjoy. Here's the recipe. All set to make my patoyo. Here are these patoyo chekole that I've bought, and I've just washed them. Now I have to dry them nicely and keep. So I'll wipe each of them with this hand towel that I have. And I have around 2 dozen of these kole. Now generally patoyo we make on 15th August, but I thought I'd make it 2 days earlier this time so that I can post this video, and those of you who would like to try it out can also try it. So along with these lovely fragrant haldi leaves, I have 2 cups of this Goa parboiled rice or ukde tanu, which I have soaked and kept overnight. So they are all ready now, soaked overnight and kept. I have these 2 large coconuts that I have, so I'm going to break them and I'm going to scrape them. So once this is done, I will go ahead with my recipe and with the other ingredients. Here are my other ingredients. This is the coconut which I have scraped. I have around a cup of this organic jaggery. Now I like this kind of jaggery, but normally in patoyos, the traditional one, we used to put Goa jaggery. So I also have around a few cubes, 4 or 5 cubes of this Goa jaggery, the pyramids that I had picked up from Goa. Now for this coconut, since it is 2 coconuts, for 1 coconut I'm going to use the organic yellow jaggery that I like, and for the other one I'm going to use the traditional Goa jaggery which the rest of my family likes. So both of us will get our favorite patoyos in the way that we like it. I have some salt. I have some elaichi powder out here, and I also have some vanilla essence. Now, in case you don't have elaichi powder, I have around 1/4 teaspoon of elaichi powder. Suppose you don't have elaichi powder, you can also crush around 5 or 6 elaichi or cardamom. So now I'll go ahead with the recipe. I'm now going to crush this jaggery. Okay, since it is soft, it is crushing well. And in my pan, I'm going to add half this coconut that I had, that is 1 coconut, and I'm going to add this jaggery along with a pinch of salt, and I'm going to let the jaggery melt and I'm going to let it cook for a while. I'm also going to add just around a teaspoon of water to it. And while this is happening, I'm going to start crushing my jaggery pyramids that I have, that is the Goa jaggery pyramids. Okay, this is a little harder to crush. Let me check this in the meantime. Okay, this is also happening. This is what it will look like in a minute. Can you see the jaggery? It is already melting. So let the jaggery melt completely, even these small pieces that you can see out here. And let the entire coconut cook for a little while. This will take around 3 to 4 minutes. It won't take very long. I'm trying to crush all the jaggery pieces here. So all the jaggery is melted. I've increased the flame to medium now. Can you see this is done? So now that this is done, I'm going to switch off the flame and I'm going to put the elaichi powder. Now there are 2 versions. When my grandmother used to make it, she would use vanilla essence and she would use the Goa jaggery. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to put vanilla essence when I'm using the Goa jaggery. And for this Bombay jaggery that I'm using, I'm going to be using the elaichi powder. There, I've mixed it. Now I'm going to remove it aside in a bowl and let it cool. And in the same pan, I'm going to start cooking the other coconut with a Goa jaggery. Follow the same procedure here. Add this remaining coconut that was in my bowl. I'm going to add here the Goa jaggery pyramids. It was easier to crush once I started using two hands. Earlier it seemed hard because I was using just one hand. Again, I'm going to add a pinch of salt and around a tablespoon of water. And again, I'm going to start mixing this on a lower flame until this jaggery melts. There's our Goa jaggery now. I love the color that the Goa jaggery gives. So all these sweets that we make, the Vaughan, the Tizan and all, have this lovely, beautiful color. Just taking some time for the jaggery to melt, but otherwise, look how good it looks. So all this jaggery has melted, our coconut is also ready. So now I'm going to switch off the flame and I'm going to add this vanilla essence. So there we go, two different flavors completely. One set of coconut with the yellow jaggery and elaichi. The other with our Goa jaggery and a little bit of vanilla essence. I'll remove this also aside and let it cool down for a bit. Fillings are now ready. I'm going to keep them aside to cool and move on to the next step. Here is that Goa rice or ukda rice or red rice that I had soaked overnight and ground. This is around 2 mugs of the rice. See how fine it has become? Now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to cook this for a little while. Very little while on a very low flame. Make sure that you are stirring it continuously because you don't want any lumps to be formed. Add a little bit of water. I'll have to switch off my phone now because I want to use my hands to clean off this vessel. I added just a little bit of water to clean off that vessel. And I want to make sure there are no lumps. While this is happening, I will also add a little bit of salt. Now, there are some people who grind this mixture very thick and then they don't cook it. So you can either use it raw, some people use it raw. There are some others who use rice flour, again kneaded with hot water, kneaded into a dough with hot water. I do it this way because this is what my dad taught me about how my grandmother would do it. My grandmother would make sure that there were no lumps formed and she would grind it very fine and then slowly knead it into a dough once it started leaving the sides. Now this is a little tough part because can you see how fast the lumps are forming? And at the same time you don't want your mixture to be very dry. And you don't want anything to stick at the bottom either. If you don't have ukda rice, you can even use the normal kolam rice or the surti rice that you get. Okay, this is thickening a bit. I dare not increase the flame because I do not want it to stick to the bottom or form into lumps. If you want, you can also try it out with rice flour. Just add some salt to rice flour and then heat up your water and knead it with that. And remember to use a heavy bottomed pan because you don't want anything sticking at the sides or at the bottom. Can you see how it is slowly thickening? A little while longer and then I'll remove it onto my tart. And we want to ensure that no lumps are being formed. This is a little tough part. It's easier to use the flour, but the taste that you get with this is much better than when you use the flour. Okay, this is getting tougher now, so I'm going to keep the camera aside. It's done. So I'm going to switch off my flame. This is perfect right now. You don't want it to become very thick because if it becomes very thick, it does not spread easily on the leaves. And then the rice layer becomes very thick and jaggery layer becomes thin and it doesn't taste very nice. So this is just the perfect consistency. So now I'm going to start spreading it across on my leaves. So our leaves need to be small like these. We need small and tender leaves because they have more of the fragrance. Don't take the large leaves that have been ripened for too long. So normally people use the entire leaf to make the patoyo. You can also cut the leaf into two and make two small patoyos. So if your leaves are big, you can cut them into two, or if they are small, you can cut them into, you can use the entire one patoyo. So let's start off with our cutting these leaves into half, because it's easier to eat small pieces rather than the big ones. So I'm going to keep the leaves like this with the right side up. The wrong side has to be down. I'm going to take a little bit of my rice flour. Can you see how thin and soft it is? Not actually thin, but quite soft. So I'm going to spread it all around the leaf. Now I need to hold the leaf with one hand and spread the flour with the other, otherwise it won't spread properly. So I'm going to keep the camera aside. Can you see how it is spread? It shouldn't be too thick and neither should it be too thin. And one thing that I forgot to add earlier is that you need to wet your hands a bit when you are spreading this rice flour. Because if you wet your hands, it is easier to spread rather than using dry hands. Now on these leaves, on one side, I'm going to add the jaggery mixture like this. Not on both sides, just on one side. So depending on how much mixture you want, if you want lots, if you want less, you can decide and you can put that mixture accordingly. Once the mixture is put like this, we will close each of them tight, and then we will put them in a plate and keep it aside. And we'll complete all this and then we'll move on to steam. See, the rice paste sticks it up well, so they close well also. So I'm going to put this in my plate now. Can you see this? My patoyos are all ready now. It was a tedious task. I've not even counted how many are there, but I'm sure there are a lot of them. And now it's time to steam. So here is this 100-year-old confra that I'm going to use, belonging to my grandparents. I've half filled it with water, if you can see, little less than half actually. And I'm going to place the plate. Now you can place these patoyo directly over the plate, or you can place them separately. I think I will place it directly over this plate. And you don't have to put just one layer, you can put 2-3 layers around. Okay, so this way I'm going to start arranging them, and after that I'm going to let it steam for around 25 minutes. I'll steam it on a medium flame. So there I cover and keep it for 25 minutes. So 25 minutes up and time to open the confra. Wow. And the smell that is coming right now is divine. Absolutely divine. And can you see that the leaves have also changed a bit of color? Okay, let's see. Yes, it's cooked. Can you see it's cooked? So now it's time to remove them and let them cool. So I'm going to remove them and put them in a plate, while they cool, I'm going to put the next batch. There seems to be enough water, so we don't need to add more water. And now I'm going to add in my second batch of patoyos. Just look at these steaming hot patoyos which have just come out. They are so tempting, but I know that I have to wait for a little while. I can't eat them so hot right now. So I'll just let them cool down a bit and then I'm going to dig in. My second batch is also done, and time to remove these and put in my final batch. And here's my third batch that is going in. These patoyos turned out delicious when we ate them, and the smell of those haldi leaves steaming is still there present in my home right now, and it smells divine. I know that I enjoyed making these patoyos today and I enjoyed sharing them with you. I'm sure you too will enjoy making them and eating them. So do try them out and give me your feedback. Send me the pictures of the food you cook. Tag me on your Insta and Facebook posts. And don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and to all the videos that are there. Have a great day ahead.